Hey friends, welcome back to Mimi's Mixed Bag. Thank you for stopping by. If this is your first visit, I encourage you to check out my channel. I've got hundreds of home decor projects and I'm sure you'll find something you like. Today I'm bringing you 3 spring decor ideas. 2 of them I would consider trash to treasure projects. The third one is just going to be an experiment. I hope it turns out, but if it doesn't, I've only lost $1 and it was fun in the process. So stay tuned and I'll get started. All right, the first project is one of the trash to treasures, and about a month or so ago my daughter was throwing out these 2 chunky pieces of cardboard, and I said, oh, I need those for my stash. I'm gonna find something to do with them. I thought they just looked like 2 big chunky canvas boards or something that I knew I would eventually find something to do with them, and here it is a few weeks later and I already have. Now, knowing I had those, I came across these 2 coordinating canvases from the Dollar Tree. They're dogwood branches. They don't mirror each other, but they definitely coordinate, and I just thought they were so pretty, very spring-like. And then I also found some little fabric that coordinated with the canvases as well. So this whole project is costing me $4. Now back to my cardboard pieces. You could achieve the same look if you had like some square gift boxes or something like that, but with me using this cardboard, I'm gonna have to prep my cardboard sides a little bit and just cover that up with some masking tape, make it look a little smoother. All right, I've got my sides taped up and they're nice and smooth and I can work with it. Now I ironed my Dollar Tree fabric, and this fabric is thin, and I was afraid that where I taped around it would show, and sure enough it does. So what I'm going to do is cover both of my pieces of cardboard in just some white paper, and that should disguise that tape trimmed all the way around. Now if you use a pizza box or whatever gift box you have, you probably won't have to deal with this. But I've got my front covered now, and that paper just totally camouflaged those tape lines. All right, so now I've got my fabric laid out here and I'm ready to cover it. It's just like covering a board or anything with fabric. There's all kinds of ways. You could do it one side and the other side. You could pull up the corner and then pull up the left and the right side. There's no right or wrong way. As long as your fabric is wrapped super neat on your board, that's all that matters. All right, I've got my fabric glued on there now. I pretty much just did it like you would gift wrap. The folded fabric is just going to show on the bottom and the top, and on the sides of my artwork there's not going to be any folded fabric. All right, now I'm ready to just hot glue my canvases on my boards. Now some of you may just want to stop there and just have it basic like this, but I really think it needs a little something else. I have a bag of these thrifted wood beads that I think I'm gonna attach around. Also, Dollar Tree does sell some silvery plastic necklaces that almost give a glamorous look. You could trim it out like this. They also sell wood beads that you could paint and embellish and put around. It's a total personal preference. So you kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm going to hot glue everything on there, and don't forget your hanger on the back, and I'll show you the finished project at the end. All right, project number 2, I think some people would consider it a trash to treasure because I'm using some old canvas frames that are rectangle. I got them at the Goodwill bins. I paid like $1.25 a piece for them or something like that, and I've just had them in my stash waiting for the perfect project. This is not my original idea. I got the idea from a YouTube channel called She's So Crafty. She is phenomenal. One of my favorite crafters to watch. She's the one that I believe invented the racetrack lantern that so many people went crazy about. She went to Lowe's and she just bought some wood and just created her some rectangle frames like this, and then went to Dollar Tree and spent $2 on some of these plastic embossed sheets that look like metal. And then she took her frame and just framed out these sheets like that. And when I saw that, I knew I had these, and this was the perfect project. She ended up staining her wood. I have a lot of stained wood in my house, and I didn't want it to compete with colors. So I'm going to just leave mine this natural color. I like this light wood, and I think it'll look good. Now, she also, one of her techniques, she spray painted her tiles white, and I'm going to do that first. All right, my adhesive sheets are painted white now. My original plan was to use spray paint, but I went with plan B, and that was just some white apple barrel paint, a couple coats using a sponge brush. I think I got pretty good coverage. I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and I'll be back tomorrow. All right, so next day here, my tiles are completely dry. By using the acrylic paint instead of spray paint, they're pretty matte, which that's fine. I don't think it really matters. And so now I'm ready to distress the tiles. And I've never seen it done this way. She painted a popsicle stick black, and then she went over and just kind of guided it over the top of the embossed edges, and it created a distressed look. Well, if you're a paper crafter and you've got a bunch of ink pads, you can do the same exact thing, just like when you do embossed paper. So I can just rub over it like this. I'm trying to do this one-handed, but you see, but if you don't have an ink pad, then like do what she did. Just paint it black. Don't get a lot on there, and just rub it until you get it distressed as much as you want. All right, I'm gonna give you a little close-up of running the ink pad over it. I think that's definitely the way to go if you have one. And so I'm gonna now take my scissors and cut the two pieces exactly in half. All right, I just want to flip it over and show you that I'm gonna leave the plastic backing on the back of the tiles. There's no reason to pull it off and make it sticky. Now with these two pieces, I cut off some of the backing so that I can just match it up right here with the other one and hot glue them into one big rectangle piece. Now once I get them both attached, that's when I'm going to attach it to my frame. You can hot glue it, staple it, whatever you want to do. So that's an idea of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to finish this out and I'll show you at the end. All right, my third project is what I'm calling an experiment. When I said if I'm going to try it, and if it doesn't work out, I've only lost $1. So I picked this plastic little tray up a few months ago at the Goodwill. I just love the shape of it. My original plan was to put some little feet on it, and I still may do that. I bought a 6-pack of ping pong balls. If this has good coverage, I'm going to go back and do the ping pong balls and put some little ball feet on there. I think that'll look really cute. Now I've been looking at some videos trying to figure out how I can make plastic look like wood. Here's what I've come up with. All right, this one guy, he had painted his piece kind of a yellowy, he called it a buff color. So I've got just this pale ivory yellow color that I think will work. Now he had kind of an orangey brown, a burnt umber brown. All I have is this melted chocolate. But in the midst of digging through my stash, I found this kind of orangey burnt umber spray paint, and I think that's going to work perfect. I don't think it matters if you use the acrylic paint or spray paint. It's what you do at the end to make it look like wood grain. And here is the trick, is just using one of those cheap chip brushes. And the brush going in one direction will give you the wood grain look. So we'll see. I'm just having fun. If it turns out looking like a wood tray, then great. If it doesn't, then no big deal. All right, I've got my second creamy yellow coat drying. And then I went ahead and started on my ping pong balls in case this works out. But I'm gonna move everything outside for the brown spray paint. All right, I've tried outside, entirely too windy, so I'm in here in my husband's shop, and this is gonna work out perfect. All right, so now here, I'm gonna practice on the bottom first, because even if it does work out, the bottom's really not gonna show, but this will give me a practice run. So I'm just gonna spray over the yellow. I'm gonna take this brush and just start going up and down. We'll see how this does. I don't know if it's buildable. It definitely looks like wood grain, but I'm not sure if the paint will stick. All right, on the second coat, I just did a lot heavier coat, and now I'm just going up and down, trying to create that wood grain. Okay, I've got the bottom pretty much dry with my heat gun, and here's what I've kind of learned. At some point, you need to stop, because if you do too many strokes back and forth, it starts pulling it off, I guess, when it starts drying. Once I do 3 or 4 strokes up and down, I need to stop. But it does take on a wood appearance. I don't know if this camera is really capturing it that well, but it definitely has a wood look. But I'm glad I had this bottom to practice on. All right, I've got my front drying now, and I had a couple spots in the corners that the yellow wanted to kind of mix with the brown. I think it wasn't 100% dry, but I just sprayed some more brown on top, and I just kept swiping and blended it all in. And so I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'm going to let it completely dry. All right, here we are in my little front dining room area, and here's my little faux fireplace that I like to decorate up for the seasons. But here are my 2 cardboard squares. You could totally recreate this using 2 pizza boxes, and you need to look through that Dollar Tree wall art. It just gets better every year. Now, because I had the big bag of thrifted beads, I trimmed mine in the wood beads. That would get a little pricey, but since I had them, I used them. I just love how you can take $2.50 of wall art and make something look way more expensive. But this robin egg blue is so pretty this time of year. All right, and here is my second trash to treasure, my faux framed tiles. Love how this turned out. I love all the light colors I've got going on here for spring, and I don't think anyone would ever know those were silver plastic Dollar Tree tiles. I hope you like this one as much as I do. All right, y'all, last but not least, here's my 99-cent dollar store tray. Now here are the little ping pong balls. I think you could take them or leave them. I think it would look even more real without the feet, because normally you don't see dough bowls and things with feet. You really need to try this. I think the trick to it is painting it creamy yellow underneath and then some kind of orangey brown on top. I just laid a little ivy wreath right across it, a few little eggs and a candle, and here I have a simple spring centerpiece. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these flips. It's my favorite type of crafting. I'll be back next week with something fun to share. Bye-bye.